Hello, everyone. What's going on? My name is Timpedia, and welcome back to the TNT podcast, episode 11111111. No,
one episode.
maybe that's an intro I should do. Is just go straight into binary one time. That'd be fun, right?
Good Lord.
Yeah, no, it'd be great.
But we are back once again, the full crew this week. Starting with on my right,
Friedman, also known as Andrew, but mostly known as Friedman.
and on my left,
It's just Tyler.
and across.
I'm part of the crew now?
Well, I
You
mean,
might as well
you are
be.
the almost
Basically.
constant guest, so.
Yeah, the
I've been
perpetual guest.
upgraded. The amazing.
Yeah,
Angel.
Davi. Yeah, you got socks now, Davi. Congratulations.
Thank you. Dobby has clothes.
Yeah,
I am a free elf.
yeah, you're a free elf, bro.
Uh,
Now we can kick this off with some
With a
big
sad
news.
news.
So this is so much good and bad. Well, the
No,
bad,
this is nothing good about this.
well,
There's
no,
nothing
but
good
There
about
is one
Cyberpunk
good
it's
being
gonna
thing.
delayed
branch. It's gonna branch.
this November 19th. No, this is bullshit.
Cyberpunk delayed
not happy.
again.
Yeah,
2 more
till
months.
November 19th. I don't give a shit if it's the same week as my birthday. I don't give a fuck. This is terrible.
Game is quote content complete, but
Whatever.
who knew that doing quality assurance when no one has
Nah, that's
equipment at
bullshit.
home, and
Bullshit.
when you're playing with a game bigger than The Witcher 3 like 3 times, there's a lot of QA that's gonna have to go into this shit.
Nah, I'm upset.
I'm surprised they
Still
don't have like a
upset.
remote into the office setup going.
No, I'm sure they do, but I don't know. I just feel like I'm
Unless
not
they have, like-
surprised.
Unless they have the physical test units there and there's not just enough to distribute around.
I know I shouldn't be that critical about it, I guess, but like, man, y'all said COVID or no COVID, it's coming out.
But
September.
Tyler, Shigeru Miyamoto said that
Yo,
that
you get the Freeman quote out of here, all
I
right?
love that quote, but in the world of over-the-air patches, it really doesn't exist anymore.
No, but also like it's literally the quote that always gets thrown anytime anyone like, oh, I'm sad this got delayed. It's like,
oh, don't you know though that it's good forever?
and it's like, yes,
Hold
I
on.
understand that, but I
So
still
I'm bringing.
Weebs understand that the phrase is "be happy got delayed" and not straight up canceled.
that's good.
It's different for games. So like, I've brought up this point multiple times on here and like to other friends like outside the podcast, but like, I always find it lightly concerning, especially now, where like we're in a time where, things are very culturally sensitive, and I almost feel like, I'm not saying that this is the reason, but it almost makes me very skeptical that and convenient how like while this stuff is going on, they're saying, oh, we're delaying it another 2 months.
I would like to believe that that's not true and that 2 months is just quality.
But that's the thing. How long do they got the quality? Like, they already released like saying like there's a working game.
All right,
I mean,
I'm gonna tell
I know
a
it's
fun
a
story.
big game.
I'm gonna tell a fun story about something that I think it happened before we started. Yeah, it was before we started the podcast. But it was when Final Fantasy 15 was going to come out. They decided they wanted to release a day one patch, but for some reason, some parts of Japan just don't have internet, and they're like, "We can't possibly do a day one patch. It must be on disc, even though we already printed discs and shipped them. Recall them. We can't have a day one patch." You know what they did? Delayed it 3 months and had a day one patch anyway, and it was unplayable without the actual day one patch.
Incredible.
So there's always more you can do on these games, and
Yeah.
this is just CDPR just couldn't figure out the cutoff point.
Now I can understand. Like now I can understand if there were some things that were like super game breaking, maybe, but like that doesn't sound like the case. And like, but the thing is, we'll never know. And what I'm a little bit upset about is that they're not to a point where they were transparent enough, but now I feel like they aren't. I feel like they're definitely keeping something away from us, and this is like the small conspiracy theorist part of my brain. But like, I don't know. I don't like it when things get delayed more than twice. That usually doesn't. That usually means that things aren't going as planned.
To be fair, The Witcher 3 was also delayed twice.
So there you go.
Was it? Nah, man, I don't like. I still don't like
But
it.
As a developer, I have an idea of what's going on, given they were able to show off a completed game. something was very breaking in the second half of the game, and they had to rework a core part of the engine, and that means you have to QA everything from start to finish when you change something that's that fundamental. But because it doesn't impact the early 3/4 of the game, they can go around showing off that build to everyone without any issues.
I mean, they also said
That's my conspiracy theory.
they also one of the words they also used in their statement was balance, which in my mind means that the character creator, like, they basically needed shit tons of run-throughs with all the character builds and everything, because Witcher is just Geralt, potions, and 5 signs. That's a lot easier to balance of a game, I guess. I don't know.
I guess.
Have they shown there's just way more customization with the character?
Honestly,
I'm trying to go in blind, so I don't watch a lot of the.
No, I haven't either. But if you think about the setting, like, or if you compare it to like Deus Ex, in the Deus Ex games, stealth is like too good, and it's like pretty easy to play like an aggressive stealth build where you just run in, stun a guy with a stun. Like Tyler, you were playing Plague Tale. We'll get to that later, but like you threw a rock in a guy's face and he was just out. And it's like you never got punished for not being stealthy. I wonder if like too many QA testers were like, you know, it's really fucking easy if you go full cyber and you just hack everything and the game's over. I wonder if there was like too easy of a build path in there. I don't know. This is all speculation.
I hope that they come out with like a what's the Freeman, you might remember. Oh no, I remember a post-mortem. I hope they come out with like a post-mortem later on, like talking about
explaining what their rationale was behind like certain.
Yeah, like or like just come like like what kind of roadblocks did they run into while making this game that could potentially have extended the release date.
Oh, I'd kill to listen to like a GDC speech on this.
Oh yeah, 100%. I would love to, or like an interview, like one of those like.
I was gonna say,
interviews or something
No
like
Clip
that.
already did the stuff on Witcher. I'm sure, and they've like met with those guys since then. So I'm sure they're gonna do something about this game.
Yeah, I would definitely love to see that, or I might just like start creeping around Gama Sutra again to like see if anything comes up.
But in addition to the delay, so that happened almost immediately after the podcast 2 weeks ago. But then last week, we had the first, what's it called? I forget.
Night City Wire.
Night City Wire. Thank you. Where we got to see a new trailer, gameplay of brain dancing, and some interviews with some devs. New trailer's hot. Tyler's girlfriend is in the trailer.
Oh yeah. It's pretty cool. I mean, I don't know. Brain dancing is like whatever, I guess.
See, I just think it's so cool.
It's more involved than like some of the other stuff, but I will say it is just like Detroit Become Human.
I mean, sure, but it's a much more. I just think it's a much more open version of that. Like, I think we're gonna get into brain dancing. And I think later on there's going to be a lot more depth and stuff to that than there was in like Detroit. And most of it was like the early stuff with Connor, where he's just like reconstructing a crime scene, and that's kind of all there is. Like it's not really a failure. It's like a path kind of laid out for you a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But this, I could see them just doing so many big. Like the first one we see is a guy's own murder. And like they're just like, hey, why don't you just find out? Like, if that wasn't a tutorial, I bet you wouldn't have to find out how the guy died.
So, from watching the all the preview stuff, which to Tyler's point, I'm hoping that they expand on brain dancing a little bit more. But that sequence that they showed with brain dancing is actually very early on in the game, and that is actually the tutorial for brain dancing.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it
That's
seems
what I mean.
a little slow and hopefully like it expands more in the future, but I see where Tyler is coming from, where it was like, okay, I mean, like I get it, but maybe there should be a little bit more to it, but it's a tutorial, so.
Right. That could be more fleshed out later on.
And honestly, I appreciate the aesthetic of that more, like how they go over like, oh, well, brain dancing is like it's like movies basically. But this is like some black market shit. Like you're not supposed to be able to brain dance into somebody that's dead. This is like some seedy underworld shit, and this is like what junkies go for, and
yeah.
like it seems like they've really put a lot of thought into like how shit like this fits into the world, which is what I appreciate most about what I've seen so far about Cyberpunk.
I will say one thing I want to be clear on is while a lot of this footage is cool, I am very much trying to not be overhyped about this game because a lot of people on the internet, and I saw like a line on Reddit or something that was really made sense to me, but some people are wanting like a literal I can like live a VR life in the future out of this game.
Oh, that's too much. That's
and it's
too
like,
much.
no, that's not.
No, we set ourselves up when PlayStation Home came out for that, and that was a disaster.
Yo, I mean, I'm hype. Everybody in the office knows I'm like hype for this game, but even I know like I don't expect like dude. They had to sit me down. Aiden was there. They're like, Tyler,
No,
like you gotta sit down.
The office had to prepare Tyler for the news that it was delayed.
They're like, you should sit down. I'm like, yo, what the fuck happened? And they're like, Tyler, you should just chill out. I'm like, well, now you got me freaking the hell out. Like, what did I do? Like, did I break something? Like,
no,
did
worse.
something happen? Like, it's like, they're like, well, all right, it's not that catastrophic. Like, just like, listen. I'm like, well, what? Like, what is it? They're like, Cyberpunk got, fucking moved to November 19th. I literally sat down and like, I just stared off into space.
There was one other cool thing. In addition to showing off the game, which still looks really awesome, we got the announcement that I don't think there was even a rumor of this, Friedman, but Studio Trigger...
No one had been talking about this prior, so this was a very well-kept secret.
Studio Trigger, for its 10th anniversary, is doing an anime of Cyberpunk in Night City, not related directly to the story of the game. And it's... What is their pedigree? No, I was just going to say, Freeman, the two people they showed, the designer and the director, have like crazy pedigrees.
The director is the same director from the best Trigger shows, from Gurren Lagann, Kill la Kill. He did Promare. He was also one of the 20 key animators for the movie Redline, which I didn't know about until I looked this up.
Yo, but
he's not doing key animation for this, but still, if you understand the role of the director, he's going to throw some of that in there.
But tell me why it's coming out in 2022 when the game's not going to be as relevant.
Because the DLC is going to be relevant. It needs something to advertise.
The game is definitely still going to be relevant. Look how long the tail...
2 years?
Tyler,
the final DLC is coming out.
The Witcher 3 is still selling like hotcakes, and how long is that?
Yeah.
All right, you know what? Okay,
I came up with a theory. Show did for it.
No, I came up with a theory. That's right. The other day, I remember this, Aiden. This is what's going to happen, right? Down the line... Cyberpunk 2022 or whatever the fuck, like, that 2022 anime is gonna come out. Same time, they're gonna announce Witcher 4.
No way.
And then the cycle continues.
I think it's just whenever the definitive edition comes out, it's gonna be around the time.
Because remember what happened when the Witcher show came out? Everybody's like, yo, there's a Witcher game, and they're like, yo, what else do they do? Oh, they did all the other Witcher games, but yo, check out this other game that they're making right meow. And it's like, oh.
Wait. But
hold on. Witcher 3 still like spiked in sales when that show came out.
But
also,
what I'm saying.
Cyberpunk was first announced like 10 plus years ago.
Yeah, dude, Cyberpunk was a 90s video game.
It was announced 8 years ago. All right.
Yeah. But you're telling me that like people who haven't played The Witcher before, but they saw the show and they're like, yo, maybe I'll give The Witcher a try. And then they're like looking into CD Projekt Red shit and they're like, oh, yo, Cyberpunk. Oh, this looks kind of cool. Oh, shit, it's got Keanu Reeves in it. Holy shit, bro. And like, it just adds to it.
But at the same time,
I'm sure that happened a lot.
I feel like that's too big brain. That's like some galaxy brain fucking pipe dream shit.
Also, I feel like look at how many games are coming out right now. Indie developers especially are rushing to get their Cyberpunk universe, like Cyberpunk aesthetic game out. Like what is the game we played the demo of, Tyler? Ghost Runner or whatever?
Oh, Ghost Runner, yeah.
Like there's that 10-cent one we were talking about on Sunday. I forget the name of, like, Sin with a Y. A Cyberpunk shooter game. Like, everyone is so into this aesthetic, and it's all been triggered by this game. I don't think you can say Witcher 3 led into this, which led into, like, literally Cyberpunk culture.
I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying it's helping.
That's kind of
what the fuck? No, it's not. I literally said it's adding to it. That's all I said. I didn't say that keyed up shit.
That's
You know
fair.
what heated up the actual like coming out of the game, the actual like all that shit and all that shit they did last year with Keanu Reeves that even hyped it up even more.
Dude, it was
You
all
can't
because of the
tell me-
meme. Once the Keanu meme, the Keanu and mini Keanu
Well,
together,
like you can't
on
sit
top
here
of the
and
you're
tell
breathtaking,
me
was enough to
that-
take over the internet.
like okay, like awareness for something in media that like branches out to fucking normies. Oh, because it does. I'm not saying that started anything.
Point
Sure, but-
is, the anime is going to come out and it's going
Yes.
to spike sales of Cyberpunk, and that's what the strategy is, regardless of what date Witcher 4 is getting announced.
Oh,
I give
also,
up, forget
Because
it.
Witcher 4 has season 2 of The Witcher to work with.
well, that's going to come out first, I bet.
It's season
I
3,
give up.
regardless. They've got their
But-
marketing strategy.
Speaking of which, I don't know if we actually said, I don't remember, but this is coming to Netflix in 2022.
Yep. And you know what? Honestly, and I think Tyler will agree with me on this. Should have stayed a secret.
Yeah,
I think they're announcing it too early.
I think they're announcing it way too early. They should have They should have either that show should have even come out this year, or they should have waited like a year or two for it. Because I'm
I
not gonna
don't-
give a shit about it.
So if it was only them doing it, but as they said in the video, it's Trigger's 10th anniversary, and I'm sure they've been getting bombarded with people saying, what the fuck is Trigger doing for its 10th anniversary production? And it's...
I could see that.
Yeah, 'cause
This
they
might
were-
be just as much a Trigger thing as it is a
yes,
Cyberpunk thing.
exactly.
It also might have had to do with the fact that Anime Expo got canceled, and that was probably when they were going to announce it.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
that
Anime
too.
Expo got rolled into this online event that's going to be happening Thursday through Sunday this week with a couple announcements I'll get to later in the not so surprise segment known as the Weeb Shit. But it may have been like they've known for like a couple months now that it was canceled, so they might have been like, "Hey, do you want to just do it on one of your live streams?" And I don't think they have another one before this weekend. So
No,
they
the
said
next
that
Night
they were
City's
doing
in a few
another one
weeks.
in a few weeks. Yeah, so
I wouldn't be surprised if probably end of July-ish, like they probably do like a once a month kind of thing. Kind of like what Microsoft said they were doing with the Xbox rollout. Like, hey, we're doing the Cyberpunk rollout.
yeah,
That could also be another part of the delay is maybe Microsoft and or Sony was like, hey, man, why don't we give you a little money or even just offer you a little more time to maybe do like a launch console or something with Cyberpunk on it. We already know this is Cyberpunk Edition Xbox.
I saw the fucking concept art for a Cyberpunk PS5 and I got really excited and was very upset that it was just concept.
But like that's what I mean. There could easily be like November is when these consoles are probably coming out. So
yeah, and didn't they confirm that they were going to be ready for the next gen stuff?
yes, and they said they are going to now. They confirmed that PlayStation 5 is also getting the free upgrade from PS4 to PS5
Nice.
when it comes out.
Ugh, I love you, CD Projekt Red. Don't ever change. Don't fuck this up.
Speaking of don't fuck this up.
Go. Look, there are so many opportunities to fuck up, and I'm going to talk about all of them in order. Actually, no, completely out of order. So, the Pokemon Company had a unique strategy. Instead of keeping all of your announcements in a single 30-minute live stream, they decided we need 3 10-minute live streams each 1 week apart. So last time we all gathered, they had a 10-minute live stream where they talked about literally nothing and then showed a 2-minute trailer of footage we already saw for the Pokemon DLC that'd be coming out during the next Pokemon Direct. Awful trailer. I recommend you go watch it. This is how not to edit a video game trailer. So a week goes by. So we're now at the day after we recorded the last episode of the podcast. And they show off a ton of games. I was correct in my prediction. They'd show off Pokemon Sleep, in which they showed almost none of it. They showed off Pokemon Smile, which is this new mobile game to get you to brush your teeth or some bullshit. And I was ready to write this off. They showed off more about the Isles of Armor DLC. They fixed a lot of the problems people had with some of the systems they added in Sword and Shield. Like, for example, you guys heard about Gigantamaxing, right? Or
Yep.
Dynamaxing is
Yeah.
the base form. But some Pokemon have another form when they Dynamax called Gigantamaxing, which everyone's like, okay, I guess it's like Mega Evolutions, but it's themed for this year's gimmick. The problem was the only Pokemon that could go into those forms, you had to acquire them in raids, which meant getting one with the right stats or the right nature, getting one that was shiny was a crapshoot. And Game Freak was just like, well, no, this is how we want players to play this game. And everyone was mad. So they added like clear systems to be like, we don't really care how you got the Pokemon. It can do all the things it could do this way, that way, whatever. I don't care so much, but it means that they like listen to the fact that like you can't put like shitty mechanics like that in these games anymore. Like let people just play the game. And they kind of got that with this DLC. It does not fill the role they build it as. They build this as like the post game that they forgot to do, but they implement it as another route you can do at any time in the game. So it really just does not fit into the game very well. It feels like you're playing DLC. Is the best way to put it. I'm not speaking from experience, by the way. I'm not buying this. But they showed off the next DLC, which has actual like multiple characters on the map. So, like, it's interesting seeing them go to a different technical layer on the DLC. But it makes me even angrier that they just didn't do that in the base game. I don't know. I'm conflicted. But
Welcome to Pokemon. I'm conflicted.
Then we got a ray of sunshine out of the week 2 announcement. They're making another Pokemon Snap, and we're only like 2 console generations later than I thought it would be. Like I was dead convinced when they had this. It wasn't even a full game. It was an app on the Nintendo 3DS called Pokemon Dream Radar. And the idea behind it was they wanted a game that used like VR camera and having you move around using the accelerometer. And they had certain Pokemon fly around, and you would essentially like it was like a third-person shooter or first-person shooter on rails, which is basically what Pokemon Snap is, but with a camera, not a gun. And I sat there and I'm like, they're going to make Pokemon Snap out of this. This system is made for Snap. And they said there's not enough interest in Snap. We're not doing a new one like 6 years ago. Well, turns out they were wrong because Pokemon Snap 2 is coming out. It's being developed not by Game Freak. I think I don't remember the order. It's either Namco Bandai or Bandai Namco. Some combination of those 2 companies together are working on this. Even though it's one company now, don't read that incorrectly. But it looks really good. It shows Pokemon like actually doing things. For anyone who's been involved in the series, you know they haven't updated any of the character models since 2013. And most of them don't have any animation updates. So seeing shit like a Pidgeot swooping in and grabbing a Magikarp and flying away with it was phenomenal. It brought me all the way back to 99 watching like Pikachu come out of the grass and jump on the surfboard. Brought me back. Gave me hope. Inspired me. And then they said, "Oh, we're having one more Pokemon Direct next week, and get excited because it's our biggest announcement yet." Maybe for the Chinese investors it was, because they dedicated an entire 10-minute Pokemon Direct to showing off this smartphone MOBA called Pokemon Unite.
Everyone disliked this. Y'all got phones, don't you?
That's the thing. So I'm not upset that they announced this. If they announced this the same day they did Snap 2, I wouldn't care because the rest of that Direct was look at all these Pokemon smartphone apps. But they hyped everyone up, and every time they do a new Pokemon generation, they do a specific style of trailer where they show every generation of Pokemon leading up to the new reveal. And they did that for this trailer, even though it's not a fucking Pokemon game. It's a reskin of like League's Dominion mode, essentially. And the whole reason they want this out there is Pokemon Go is banned in China because it tracks your location. So they're partnered with Tencent because they want their big money-grabbing smartphone app because that's where gaming is in China. And this is 100% we are getting Chinese money for this game. But it was such a tone-deaf announcement to hype it up like it was the next big thing for Pokemon. And that's what everyone's actually mad about.
Understandably.
I'd probably play this game.
Like if it wasn't, it doesn't look terrible. It looks like, in terms of smartphone MOBAs, it looks simple enough to work. It looks like they managed to reflavor jungling into fighting wild Pokemon. I think that's a wild idea. That's great. But like to not understand the expectations of your community and then make announcements like this it's 100% do you have smartphone?
Oh yeah, this is definitely fucking Diablo, fucking whatever the fuck that game's called.
Immortal.
Because I forgot. Yeah, there you go, that one.
Like if they had announced Diablo Immortal and then be like, by the way, here's the teaser trailer for Diablo 4. Like no one would have there wouldn't have been a controversy about it. But it's this building up expectations for something that people don't really want outside of the Chinese market. But like this live stream was streamed to everyone.
Yep.
And like, I'm not going to yell. I can't yell at Game Freak for this one because this wasn't them, and I can't yell at Nintendo for this one because they're not the developers either. This was the Pokemon Company, the real evil mastermind. It wasn't Sephiroth behind this. It was Genova. Spoiler alert. Anyway, that's my transition into a different JRPG series because I don't want to talk about Pokemon anymore. Do any of you guys want to comment on this before I move on?
I just don't care enough about it, honestly.
Pokemon
I'm
left
hyped
me
for
Just no
behind.
comment.
I'll play Snap probably, but the rest of this is like whatever. Maybe I'll check out Pokemon Unite, maybe on the Switch, but like it's not some shit I'm gonna play on my phone or anything.
Thankfully,
so.
it is a free to play. It's a free to play game, but it's one of those like buy-in models. So you're definitely going to like
Yeah.
unlock characters.
If there's a rotation, that's fine.
But
Actually,
if you have Nintendo Online, you're good. I'm pretty sure with smartphones anyone can play it.
if you know what, if Snap 2 looks decent and you guys say it's fun, maybe it'll be one of the few Switch games I ever buy in the rest of my life, other than Breath of the Wild 2.
I don't know. As long as they do some interesting stuff with the gyroscope, like everybody thought they were gonna do with the Wii U,
yeah,
which is maybe the console they should have released the second
Maybe.
Snap for. But whatever.
Screen like a viewfinder. What? That's wild. Why would you ever use your hardware like that?
I think they'll probably do fine with Snap 2, and I mean like shit. If they fuck this up, then like there's no hope left.
Yeah, I mean, I want
Is
to play
it bad
Snap
that
2.
I have almost no faith?
No, not at all. Nobody blames you.
Hold on. So
Look at Friedman for fuck's
the team that's doing Snap 2, they did the Pokemon fighting game Pokken, which was not bad.
Oh.
It wasn't an amazing fighting game. But like there was quality there. Like all the Pokemon they chose to be fighters all had a lot of personality in that game. So like personality is 100% what's going to make Snap 2 good. Like being able to actually photograph like interesting scenarios with Pokemon is what's going to make that game fun. So if they nail that, they're good.
Yeah. That's what I'm most hyped for is Snap 2. So here's to hoping that they don't fuck that up.
Except they already fucked up the title. They didn't want to call it Snap 2. They called it New Pokemon Snap.
That at least it matches their naming conventions because they called the Nintendo 3DS
The new
3DS.
3DS.
The new 3DS. So it's like, whatever. I'll give them that one.
But like they lost it when they had like the new Super Mario Brothers series.
Yeah, fair.
Like I'm not
inconsistent naming
I realize
conventions.
Nintendo loves throwing new onto stuff, but like it's very short-sighted because it's like the Alien 3 story. It's like you're not gonna have a clean transition anywhere in here. All right, so moving on. Everyone's been making announcements. We knew for a while that Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles was getting remastered. I don't think we knew about the mobile versions of it, but it will be releasing on Switch, PS4, Android, and iOS. And the important part about it being released on Android and iOS is for anyone who played original Crystal Chronicles, I didn't, so I may be speaking out of my ass. Tyler, I know you played this, right?
Crystal Chron, a little bit of it, not really so much.
Like multiplayer was a thing they designed into it, and I think at the time you were supposed to like connect your Game Boy Advance to your GameCube using that like proprietary cable. So it made multiplayer a little wonky. But the cool thing about this is doesn't matter what version the host is on, as long as one person owns the full game, anyone who has the demo can connect to the player who owns the full game, and they can do multiplayer that way. So you all have smartphones, right? Anyone can now play multiplayer if someone has it on any of these platforms. So it reminds me a lot of like when Nintendo DS came out. Like if you had Mario Kart, anyone near you could download this like 10 megabyte like demo version off of your DS and then play multiplayer off of your cart. So they went with that system, which I think is super cool because it promotes that like anyone can play multiplayer with you. You don't have to actually own the game.
That is something at least.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there's no one to hang out with and play multiplayer with because everyone's locked up at home. So once this is all over, you know I'm going to play Crystal Chronicles with random ass people at the park.
Hell yeah. Who wouldn't?
In the park.
Right. What else is open? All right, moving on.
Uh,
We're on our third consecutive Japanese topic, and it's the biggest one because it's the Weeb shit.
Man, we have stayed over the ocean a lot today.
I know. It's like nothing happened.
It's better than America, man.
Technically, we're over another ocean for Cyberpunk with CD Projekt in Poland.
Yes, this is the international edition. That's the podcast episode name. Probably not. Anyway.
No, I already told Aiden what it is, and he rolled his eyes while you weren't here. So.
All right. So we're not going to go with this. All right. So not Anime Expos this weekend. I already mentioned this. Starting on Thursday. So we're expecting to see a lot of big anime announcements, probably for the next episode we record. But in the meantime, a couple of them leaked out. So for anyone who's been to a convention, anyone who goes, they give you this like booklet that just has all the events for the weekend on it. And Square Enix paid through the nose because they wanted an announcement for an anime adaptation of one of my favorite Nintendo DS JRPGs, The World Ends With You, to be right front center. Mostly because this game is aesthetic as fuck and it fits the like anime expo venue appearance. But I'm in complete shock this game is getting an anime. This game came out in like 2007, 2006, I think, and it recently, and by recently I mean like 2 years ago, got released on Switch. So anyone who wants to play it is available on a current console. The mobile version is ass. Do not get the mobile version. Switch, I think, is now the definitive version, but we're getting an anime out of it, which is pretty cool because it lends to. Do you guys want me to describe the premise, or should I just move on at this point?
No, go ahead.
So, dude wakes up in the middle of Shibuya, does not remember his name, doesn't remember why he's there, and he's got a timer on his hand ticking down to 0. And he hears a voice reminding him, like, hey, finish the challenge or you're done for. So he figures out whatever challenge is in, whatever, and he runs into a bunch of other people who are also going through this, and they find out that, you died, and you have a chance to come back, but you have to finish all these challenges, and not all of you are going to survive this week. But you might have to team up with someone, and then they all break off into pairs, and they try to compete for the week. And this is before, like, it's not really Battle Royale, because, like, you're not... Point is, it was an interesting concept. It used these pins that each of them had their own ability, so it played well with the DS's touchscreen, because there were 300-something pins, and all of them had unique abilities. So... we'll see how this pans out. The story overall lends itself to a good, like, 3-arc structure. The question is, are they going to squeeze it into 12 or are they going to stretch it into 24? Because it doesn't fit into either of those timelines effectively. But yeah, that's enough for me rambling about the World.
I mean, none of us have done anything involving it, so it's hard to.
I know this is all me. I fucking love this. I was obsessed with this in high school before I got my PS3 and went down the Kingdom Hearts rabbit hole.
It was funny. So this came out while me and Tyler were watching the Cyberpunk live stream. And just as I message, hey, there's a Cyberpunk anime, Freeman goes, oh my god, I was on our anime, and there's a fucking World Ends With You anime.
Like, I went there to go see the discussion about Cyberpunk, and it was completely blown out by this. So I was in shock.
That was hilarious.
Anyway, keeping on the trend of Netflix anime.
Oh, Freeman, there's My Hero at BNA? Wow.
Wait, what?
No, because every time I see BNA in the anime subreddit, I think it's My Hero for half a second.
Yeah, okay. I was like, did I miss some Hero Academia?
No.
Is the new movie on Netflix? No. So we knew about this one for Brand New Animal, which I always misread as Brand New Anime every time I see this title.
Brand New Anime.
It was being held in Netflix jail. It started airing in March and it completed on the 24th. Surprisingly, it's today's the worldwide premiere on Netflix. No prior announcement or fanfare. It's just kind of out there now.
Wow.
Which marks probably, I think, the shortest turnaround from an anime completing to Netflix getting their hands on it for global release.
Please, for the love of God, let this be a change.
Yeah. It might just be that Studio Trigger has, except for Darling in the Franxx, which was mostly dictated by A1 Pictures, Studio Trigger usually does their shows well in advance, which is why Brand New Animal was able to come out during COVID with no kind of issues. It was already done. So that may have had a lot to do with it. That said, it took them forever to release Violet Evergarden, and that was done months in advance as well. So, clean transition into the next announcement. A lot of the movies that were supposed to come out early spring now have their new theatrical dates announced. We don't know if they're actually going to be in theaters or Japan's going to finally embrace the idea of just streaming things. But the Violet Evergarden movie was announced for September 18th, and the final Fate Stay Night Heaven's Feel movie was announced for August 15th. We're still waiting. The holy trinity here is these two, and then the Western release of the Made in Abyss movie, which we're not going to get an announcement anytime soon. I'm willing to bet the Blu-rays in Japan are going to come out before we see it here, in which case we'll go sailing.
Yo ho.
Gaio.
I mean, Val's going to have us getting that day one if it's ever online.
Probably. I'll search the 7 Seas for you guys. But speaking of something you can't search the 7 Seas for, because this is a little weird. So we talked about it when it first got announced. There's this new dungeon crawling Konosuba game coming out for PS4 and I think Switch. And when it got announced, I'm like, this is fine. This is like the 4th Konosuba game. No one gives a shit. None of these are coming out stateside. But gradually, every single news outlet starts covering this game's development, and I'm confused as to why. Because as of right now, there's no precedent for this show coming out. It just barely got a dub release. I don't know if someone has some insider info that it is going to come out in the US, but like there's been no announcement, and everyone from like Game Ninja to PC Gamer are covering this game, and I have no clue why. I'm hoping it comes out. I want to play as Megamine. That's like my end goal in life. Is I'm already doing that in Dungeons and Dragons. Now I just want to do it on PS4.
I want to be a teenage girl that only casts explosive magic.
I want to be a joke
fair.
character, but I want the game to like mechanically support me being a joke character.
That's fair.
Anyway, that's about it for the Weeb shit. But unfortunately, there is one last thing we need to talk about.
One final.
That's right. It's that
Christ.
time of year again. It's the third or fourth time we're covering the stupid waifu wars on Reddit. I'm not going to do my usual thread read through. I just wanted to bring back the joke one more time because I fucking
Jesus
love
Christ.
playing dumb sports music while I talk about anime life.
I mean, it is pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie.
It's fine. I know Luigi was hyped because Paula was up for a vote today, and she made it through because the results got posted like an hour ago.
I voted.
Nothing too spicy is happening right now. Pretty much
I
every
voted.
waifu from pre-2000 has been eliminated at this point. It's really sad.
What a shock.
No one acknowledges the classics. Even then, like stuff from pre-2006 is also like struggling this year.
Oh wow, I can't vote. Nice.
You can't vote?
I don't have a Reddit account, so
Oh no. You can't participate.
nope.
Potato.
Peasant.
You can prep for next year. But the big thing going on is every year there's that one show that's just driven purely by hype and starts getting characters in that shouldn't be there. Like 2 years ago, Invisible Girl from Hero Academia made it to like top 32. Absolutely stupid. Last year, fuck, what's her name?
You know,
the shop owner from Konosuba with the huge hoo-has.
Oh, Weiss.
Lich?
Wiz,
Weiss,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
She makes it up there despite everything. Just like these characters that don't have a lot of screen time are making it very far in this tournament, knocking out like long-standing waifus. And this year is by far the dumbest one. So, Tim, I know you saw a couple episodes of Kaguya-sama Love is War.
Correct.
So in that show, there are, of the female cast, there's 3 principal female characters.
Yes.
And there's like 2 side ones who are like the siblings of the main male character. They were in 1 episode in season 1 and 2 episodes in season 2. And one of them is like 6th seed or something ridiculous. It's like, I don't know what percentage of like the anime subreddit like has only started watching anime in the last year and is just super involved in these contests. But it seems like we go through waves of people just like the newbies are voting really hard and then they just fall off in a couple of years.
Sick.
So we have this joke of a character making it through, and her next opponent is Yoko from Gurren Lagann. So if Yoko gets eliminated by this background sister character,
Meme.
God, my faith was already not that amazing, but oh boy,
Oh boy.
worse.
Freeman, you played yourself by ever having faith in the Weeb community.
We all know they're garbage.
That said, Megami and Megamine are both still doing strong, and I feel like I have this exact same conversation every fucking year. And I know it's gonna be a disaster.
It's gonna be a disaster. It's already a disaster. It sounds.
That
like.
said, I'm pushing hard for Luigi's waifu this year, Hollow, because she deserves the win this year, and she has a pretty easy bracket into like top 52 or whatever it is. Or no, 48. Anyway, we'll be getting semi-weekly updates. I don't know if it goes for a full 2 more weeks. So by the next time, we may know who the waifu is and who the residents of the Salty Spittoon are.
Oh my god.
And that's actually it for the Weeb shit.
All right. Well, since we had so little news this week, we can focus on all the stuff we've been doing.
The real podcast.
Freeman, you mentioned some characters from Konosuba like Yun and Megamine, and you finally finished a show that truly showed them in all their glory.
Yes. So I finished watching Isekai Quartet during lunch today.
Yes.
I had been holding off on it. Not that I don't like the show, but it's very rare for there to be like a 13-minute anime that's actually good. So what I was doing was on days where like I have late meetings and need to eat a quick lunch, instead of watching what I'd normally watch during lunch, I just throw on an episode of Isekai Quartet. So it took me a while to get through season 2.
Finally, though.
I'm just upset that everyone hyped up that what's his name? Cautious Hero was going to show up, and he's literally there for like 10
A
seconds.
scene.
And then he's gone.
Yeah,
I was
he's like, Like, hey,
dude,
let's go in. No, okay.
Like I was hoping this would just lead into the most ambitious Isekai crossover of all time, more so than it already is. And then teasing another season. I was hoping they were gonna like tease another show joining next
I
season.
know, but they don't.
They didn't. But that said, I like going through this season, I was like, no wonder they're making season 3. Like this is a shoestring budget. They're using like the Rick and Morty vectorized animation style for this, so it's easy. But then during the last episode, they had this like very crazy action sequence with Amelia floating on ice on this water, and they had this like POV hand firing ice shot. And I'm like, for a show that like prides itself on how budget it is, they're going really over the top while still using this budget art style. But overall, good stuff.
I'm just so glad you made it through and saw Yun, Megumin, and like the talking heads. One of the funniest jokes I've seen in anime. Period. When
No,
Yeah.
so you guys,
God.
so like I didn't catch it watching ReZero originally, but when I watched the OVAs, they really ham up how much of a piece of shit Ram is, the pink-haired sister.
Yes.
And watching her in Cinderella be the same piece of shit she is in the OVAs, but like also in a school play, was phenomenal.
It's so well done. It's so fun. And that's a show that I'll just throw on episodes again to rewatch, especially now, like just for fun. But yeah, I'm glad you finished it because man, but I'm more happy that you got to see Yun do her solo act because that was one of the moments I was waiting for you to finally watch.
I'm very excited to knock that one out.
I guess since we're talking about your anime, Freeman, what else have you watched anything else? Haha, silly question.
So you beat me to the punch on watching Villainous. I still have 2 episodes left on that. And then I'm closing it on Bookworm. I just saw the episode with the library with all the like mind reaction faces.
Oh
Phenomenal.
yeah.
But the only show I actually finished recently was Tower of God, which I got to, I think on like Friday. My buddy who reads the manga was like bugging me day after day. He's like, watch this fucking episode so I can explain to you why I hate Rachel. And I was like, you told me how much you hated her before this show. Like,
Yo, Rahel's a fucking
Rahel.
bad bitch. I fucking hate this bitch. I want her dead.
I
I want her in the fucking dirt.
I was almost sympathetic, and then she laughed, and all my sympathy went out the window.
I had zero sympathy ever since she fucking like, what was it? Long live the king. I'm like, yo, this bitch. I was pissed, and like, yo, for all those who have watched The Lion King, you probably that's probably a spoiler for you. My bad.
It's okay,
My
no
bad.
context.
Yeah, no context. But yeah, I was like, wow, are you fucking kidding me? And like, I was like, so I was talking to my boy who also watched it because he's like, yo, I'll watch like an anime with you. I'm like, sure, I'm watching this. And
By the way, Tyler also finished for those at home.
yeah, I also
Yeah, we were waiting
was
on me to
watching.
finish before we could talk about this.
But yeah, man, and like, yo, Bam's homies were like, yo, we're gonna do this for Bam. Like, yo, Bam was so cool. Like, man, this sucks. Yo, Rahel, we're gonna help you out, fam. And I'm like, yo, this is fucked up. Like, this feels extra bad. And you know what? I was actually considering not watching the second season or watching after this because I was like, man, this is just kind of lame. Like, nothing's really going on. I get like there's supposed to be shit after this, but now I just want to see this bitch burn. Now I'm just spite watching now. I'm waiting for her to get hers.
Yeah, they didn't announce season 2 right at the end. I was expecting them to do this because it's a Crunchyroll original, and the last time they did this, it was Shield Hero, where they're just like, fuck it, 2 more seasons. We got this.
Yeah,
I don't know.
we'll see, I guess.
Tower of God is their next collaboration with Webtoons, so it might just be that Webtoons wasn't willing to fork over the money quite yet, and they need to see a return on it.
We'll
That
see.
said, I signed up for Webtoons to actually read the manhwa now that it's done and there's no season 2 in sight. And the format they have for this is really good. Like, I used to avoid Korean manhwa because I tried to read on desktop and it was miserable. And then it occurred to me, this shit is made for mobile where you just scroll infinitely, and it's so much nicer to read it on a phone.
Interesting.
And it is free to read except for the newest chapters where you have to like wait a week or be premium. So it's like the Crunchyroll situation, which is
Gotcha.
doable. I'll gladly watch a week behind or read a week behind for free. The only issue I have, and you may have noticed it while watching, there were a lot of Korean terms they use in this show that they translated into Japanese, but then did not want to translate in the subtitles. So the main character's name is Bam, which in Korean means night. So they translated his name to Yoru in Japanese, but in the subtitles they do not read Yoru, they do not read night.
Bam
they read
Bam.
Bam. Same thing with Shinsu, which in Korean just means like divine water. So in Japanese, it's water in Japanese.
AOE, isn't it?
No, it's Mizu no Kami or something. It just means like water of God. And then the subtitles just say Shinsu. And I don't know if I agree with this because the name doesn't inherently, like when you hear it, you think it's like a named thing, whereas in both Korean and Japanese, they're just using a normal word to refer to something as it is. And I kept asking myself, like, oh, are they going to have Shinsu that isn't water-based? Until I heard them use the phrase like Mizu no Kami. I'm like, oh, its name literally is God Water. So it's going to be water abilities this whole time. And I don't think the translations do a good job of explaining this to English viewers, which I don't like.
Yeah, no, probably not. We'll see though. We'll see what's going on.
It adds some confusion because, like, I don't know if they may have had it in one of the early episodes when Bam explains why he's named that. He says, "Oh, it's named after the 25th Bam," and I'm like, "Oh, so you're like a clone or something? Like, what does that mean?" And if someone explained to me like, "Oh, it's the 25th night," like that's his birthday, like it loses a lot of meaning when they don't actually like translate the meaning into your language, or at least have a translator's note, which Crunchyroll just doesn't want to use. I don't know. That's my rant.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe they'll do it better next time.
They're not going to change it at this point. A lot of it they didn't want to change because they left it translated like that in the manhwa, so they didn't want to adjust it for the anime. But Japan, they don't give a fuck. They'll translate anything.
Do you want to move on?
Yeah, is that all you watched, Freeman? Or
yeah, that's all I watched. I haven't been watching a lot of anime because I've been literally living in Persona 5. Which
Aiden, what about you? What'd you watch?
Did I talk about Made in Abyss last time?
I don't think you talked about finishing it.
I think you talked about it a little bit and talked to us about it, but not on air.
Yeah. So I finished Made in Abyss and,
Oh yeah.
That pulls on the heartstrings. It's very, very aggressive.
I'm not gonna go further than that.
Bell's not gonna stop you.
Yeah, but Aiden yelled at me too when I tried to do it the other day. So
fucking yeah, fuck you.
See,
I know what you did.
You've never even heard it, but I understand.
So I finished that and like holy shit, what a ride that was. Man, good show though. Really, really good show. Very well done. Paced very well. I'm very excited for a season 2.
Well, we got to get that movie first.
That's what I was telling about the movie.
Yeah, the movie. I don't know when that's happening because I haven't looked into it, but that's
it's almost like he wasn't paying attention to the Weeb shit when I said we don't know when it's happening either.
Yeah, and then exactly. you finished something else too.
Yeah, I'm getting there, Tyler. Fuck, it's my turn to talk.
I'm telling you, saying.
I also have officially finished Vinland Saga. Officially finished Vinland Saga, nice. And gotta be honest, I didn't like it.
Now
I liked the journey all the way up until the last episode.
Okay, there you go. That's better.
And now I'm just like a little bit upset. I know that there was that trailer for a season 2, but I haven't heard anything about a release date for season 2, and like I feel like they really needed to do just a little bit more to tie up the ending there, because it was very much just a fucking straight up sheer cliff face cliffhanger.
So they intentionally ended it there. That spot is largely regarded as the end of the prologue for the manga.
So I hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we're getting into some real shit.
Unfortunately, Studio Wit, who works on it, is very tight-lipped about their schedule because, to literally no one's surprise, their schedules are fucking terrible. They're working on Great Pretender right now, which is both in a state of coming out and not coming out because it's in Netflix jail right now. So that's airing right now, which means they're still working on it. Because
Oh
I know
yeah,
how
the show
Studio Wit
we
operates.
talked about with the
Yeah.
crazy
with
ending.
Freddie
Yeah.
Mercury. So they haven't confirmed what their schedule is after that, and we probably won't know until like right up at the end of it. There are rumors right now that a lot of their staff is helping the transition of Attack on Titan over to Studio Mappa. So that might be holding them up.
I do want to see that second season real bad.
For real.
Like,
I want to watch
for
more.
real.
Especially because it's supposed to get different from here on out.
And like a lot of people were comparing like this to Berserk. I really don't see it yet.
It's not that it's similar to Berserk, it's that it's as popular as Berserk is the only reason people compare them.
Oh, is that why?
Yeah, like of the big like like Shonen is aimed at kids, Seinen is aimed at adults, and of the like successful adult mangas like Berserk and Vinland Saga are two of the top three.
Gotcha.
So that's why they come up a lot together, but it's not like they're similar at all.
Okay. I thought they were gonna talk about like a similar structure where they're like, oh, here we see the protagonist of this story and he's got a pretty rough life. Look at him. Look how sad his fucking story is. Oh, look at this. A dramatic thing happens. Oh, look, an even more significant dramatic thing happens, and the entire world gets turned upside down. That's what I thought that it was going to go for. But if that's not the case, then that's probably for the best.
Regardless, it was good. Up until the last episode. Now I'm debating reading the manga. I'm really debating reading the manga because I actually just don't feel like I can wait. Because it was it was very good. I just really, really hate when things end like that. Like
It's like you
with
got
a
like no
burning passion.
closure with anything.
like
right?
zero closure. I'm like,
as long
what
as
the
a season
fuck
2
is
is confirmed, I'm okay with it. But with these shows that do it and then just don't confirm a season 2, that pisses me off more than anything.
That's
Yeah.
also fair. That's 100% fair. But yeah. As far as like that's pretty much all I've watched. I was going to start watching what's it called? I don't know. You suggested it to me, Friedman. Dr. Stone.
There you
Ooh,
go.
yeah.
The next.
Because Tyler suggested Promised Neverland, and apparently that
Also
might not
good.
be a good idea.
Yeah, no,
Not
I
right
recommend
now,
it
though,
as
yeah.
a palate cleanser between the two.
Nah, you gotta be like me and just be ultra depresso. Watch all those shows at once.
Oh my god.
Maybe I'll just watch them side by side. That's fine. We can do that.
No,
But
watch
as
Dr.
far as
Stone.
watching, yeah,
Like these guys and everybody else is Doctor. I haven't seen it, but like I don't know. I recommend it to people that are like, oh, well, you recommend an anime. I'm like, everybody says this is good.
Both shows are really good.
I'm gonna check them both out. I'm just debating which order to watch them in. But yeah, as far as watched, that's all I got.
Tyler, what about you?
Oh, what did I watch? I mean, I haven't really watched any new anime, unfortunately. The only thing in terms of things that I watched was I started watching Jay and Silent Bob, the new one. I haven't gotten through that yet.
Oh, let me know how it is because I heard mixed things about it.
That's how I feel about it. I feel mixed about it. Coincidentally. But so instead of talking about that, I'm gonna talk about the movie Knives Out. I saw that. It's free on Amazon right now.
Nice.
Yeah. And I wanted to watch it because I'm like, oh, this movie looks pretty good. People are saying good things about it. I'm like, yo, who directed it? I know we brought it up on the podcast before. I'm like, oh, Ryan Johnson. Huh. Ryan Johnson, huh? I'm
So
like,
what did you
okay.
think, Tyler? I want to
Ryan
hear.
Johnson.
I actually thought it was pretty good.
Yes.
Yes, I actually thought it was good. The cast is the cast. Like you look at it, you got literally all these fucking banger talent in there from fucking Don Johnson to fucking
Jamie
Daniel
Lee,
Craig.
Daniel Craig, yeah.
Yeah, like oh, you got all those guys. I think Daniel Craig was all right. I think he might have been overshadowed to me a little bit by like almost everyone else. Um,
Really? Huh.
yeah, like I don't know. I think because Daniel Craig doesn't do it for me personally, even though he was pretty much like the secondary main character, if not like the main character.
Well, I'll say that there's supposed to be another movie in this universe starring him again, so like another
Interesting.
LaBouffe mystery.
Oh, I mean, I thought that it was pretty cool. Like it was one of those, it throws you for a couple loops. Um, and like I had my suspicions because it's a whodunit. For people who don't know that like or haven't seen the trailer for this movie, it's basically just a classic whodunit.
So it's funny you say that because I forget if I told you guys, but I watched this with Val's family, then my dad, and then also at the same time we were watching it, my brother and his wife watched it. Tyler, you would, I'm sure, believe this. They said it was boring.
Really?
My dad, me, Val, and her family all thought it was good to really good. Um, I think it's super fun because it's like you said, it's a who done it, but you know who done it, and it's not about who did it. It's about you trying to. You're like rooting for the main character to cover up who done it.
Yeah. So that's the thing, right? It felt like Indigo Prophecy, right?
Kinda, yeah, yeah, yeah. The
And
beginning
at
of
the
Indigo
same
Prophecy, yeah.
Yes. And at the same time, I'm watching this, and I paused it for some. I come back, I'm like, man, I know who done it, but there's like an hour and a half left of this movie. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's gotta be another shoe that's gonna drop, and then like all these things just start coming to a head, and I'm like, oh, it's a who done it. Like this is kind of cool. Like you don't really see that, right? Like,
Yeah.
the last one, really popular one to like come out was like Hateful Eight, and even that was like in terms of writing, sorry Quentin Tarantino, but it's like pretty generic.
I never watched that one
Um,
still. Need
it's
to.
it's cool. It's pretty cool. That like there's a lot I think missed opportunities. I've talked about this on the podcast before from like Quentin, in my opinion. I'm not like I'm obviously being super critical about the filmmaking in that, but like that's like neither here nor there. Like the story's like whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But like as far as like who done it kind of like thing, it's like oh you have the mystery, and it's like oh you have all these likely suspects, and it's like oh like how did this happen, and it's like oh it was Miss Jenkins in the fucking garden with like the hatchet or some shit like that. But like with this one, they're like right off the bat like nope this character did it. Now how are they gonna get out of it? And then it's like oh shit like that's kind of interesting, but at the back of your mind like the movie kind of like tells you like, oh, like maybe there's something else to it. It's almost like, and I think that's what at least they did a good job with uh Daniel Craig's character because like I feel like they try to do a job where like even though he is not really the main character, they want the viewer to look at everything through his eyes
Yeah.
because you are learning everything really through his eyes and you are discerning everything and like coming to the same conclusions at the same time as
Because
he is.
we know who done it, but we fast forward through it happening, so we get to like unravel what happened with him, but not the end result. And along the way, we also find out why.
Yeah, I thought it was a well paced and well structured story, and like I think it was directed just fine.
This is kind of
Considering.
this is
Yeah.
kind of the next, not the next iteration, but this is like the spiritual successor to Clue, where it's a who done
Mm,
it, where it doesn't really matter who done it. It's about the journey.
yeah, I could see
It's not
that.
about who; it's about the process of figuring it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So I mean, yeah, if you're into that kind of stuff, like the whodunits, or like even just like you want to sit down and watch like an actual like well structured like good movie, I do recommend this.
I would second that notion.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot better than I thought it would, because like I don't know, I haven't really watched any more of Ryan Johnson's shit except for like Star Wars. And like after watching Knives Out, I'll add one more comment. after watching this, I don't think he had any fucking business doing Star Wars. He should have just been doing more shit like this.
Yeah, he's not. He was the wrong pick, that's for sure.
He like I honestly think like after like watching this, I'm like he should be doing this. He should have had no business doing science fiction shit like he was doing.
It's a weird thought to take because I'm sure that this is more indicative, like you said, of his older work, which I haven't seen, but it sounds like it's closer.
Right.
Because he was supposed to be good before Last Jedi, and then this is also good at post Last Jedi. So it's like, who on earth was like, this is the guy?
Yeah, and it's like I don't know, Star Wars. I feel like I know we're getting on a minor Star Wars tangent, but like I don't know, like you can tell that your directors are like have their strong focus in one thing over another. Like J.J. Abrams is good at, or at least does decent sci-fi,
Mm-hmm.
right? You have or just Quentin Tarantino because I brought him up earlier. He's got this weird like visceral yet almost kind of comedic kind of violence to his movies,
Mm-hmm.
right? Along with some of his like trademark tropes, but like that's his shtick, and he doesn't deviate. And everybody knows if he were to deviate, it like gets weird. It's like you get freaking from Dusk Till Dawn shit,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't know if you've seen that. That movie is fucking, in my opinion, atrocious.
Have not.
It's pretty bad. But yeah, I don't know. Knives Out. It's pretty cool. It's free on Amazon right now. Check it out. And that's pretty much all I watch. I didn't really watch much this past couple weeks.
As for me, didn't watch a whole ton. Been watching the new season of Queer Eye on Netflix with Val. That show's still just positive, upbeat, fun show.
Watching all this normie shit over here. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
well,
saying?
also
How's
not
Jersey
gonna
Shore?
not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
it's Jersey Shore, bro.
Me and Val's sisters, before I left out New Jersey, we did watch the first season of Jersey Shore, and that is some good
Jesus.
trash.
Good. It's the only season worth watching.
God,
Look.
shit's worse than McDonald's.
Look, it's trash, but it's still funny to. It's like just
I
going
can't
to.
front. It's like Jerry Springer. I watch
Yeah.
Jerry Springer.
You understand the appeal.
I
yeah.
do,
It's
unfortunately.
not
like-
good to understand the appeal, but you
like-
get it.
Tyler, we all watched The Room together years ago. Like, there's no like
That's
quality.
so different, though,
Is
man.
it though?
So it's God.
Is
All
it
right,
though?
you know what? All right, you know what? I gotta come clean. All right, listeners.
Oh,
I have a bias against Jersey Shore. Okay, an extreme bias. I told these guys that.
I knew it. You're related to the situation, aren't you?
Oh my god, if I did, I would fucking yeet myself. But no, that's not the case. Like, I don't know. Fun story, listeners, and I'm sure every person from New Jersey has this similar story. Tim was talking about this too.
yes.
But like, you know, I've traveled a lot throughout the United States in my so far young life, and I swear to God, ever since that show came out, no matter where I went in the country, I would always get, "Hey, where's your accent? How close to the shore do you live? What's it like in New Jersey? Do you know like any of the cast from the Jersey Shore?" And I pretty much just tell them all to go screw themselves, every last one.
Showing,
then I
showing that
follow it
Jersey
with-
love, bro.
I do, and I'm like, "Yo, you want to know how fucking Jerseyan fucking like gets along?" And I'm like, and then also on another note, they're all from fucking Long Island. That place needs to be
Yeah,
fucking
only
burned
one
to
of
the
them is from
ground.
Jersey.
Yeah, I don't even know who.
And
I
he's
think
arguably
what?
the best character. I think it was Ronnie.
No,
Well, not Ronnie.
Vinny?
Vinny. Vinny's the one from Jersey.
Vinny is the one good character, like the one not
The
totally
one who's
awful
not
guy.
a huge piece of shit. He just has
He's just somewhat.
strange hairstyle.
And like the worst part is like they all got like pretty successful careers after that show. And I'm like,
Yeah,
what the
actually,
fuck,
it's funny.
bro?
Val and I turned on the TV the other day to like switch, and we were switching inputs, and the TV, the FiOS box was like, "Hey, why don't you watch the Pauly D and Vinny prank show?"
Oh, good lord.
I'm just like,
Like,
oh my god,
I
this
don't-
sounds like the worst thing ever.
It's not fair. It's just not fair. Like, but like I can't even be that mad because it's like, man, the marketing department just did a banger job just selling these fucking losers.
Mm-hmm.
and like they're playing it off, and like they're just making money off of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Like I can't be mad.
Jersey Shore was definitely like the precursor to people just like having their careers as Instagram influencers. It just so happened that having a dumbass show on MTV was like really great, like publicity for people to launch whatever their brand is from that point on.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
But other than that, in terms of actual real good shows, like Freeman mentioned, me and Val basically mostly in the course of one day, after a little bit of lead up, binged the entirety of My Life as a Villainess. Freeman, I disagree with you saying it's like Bookworm. I see kind of where you're going, but I feel like Bookworm.
I meant just from the episode 1 premise.
Okay, that's much more reasonable.
Yeah,
but,
no, it doesn't have the same tone in the slightest.
But this is just like a hilarious harem anime, and honestly, Val actually said the phrase "I love this," which is rare for her to say about a show. It was a blast. It's so funny and so dumb. Oh my god!
Yeah, the show does not require you to think that hard, and I think it definitely works well with that.
No, it's a lot of fun, honestly. Like there's a lot of dumb shit, like the classic JRPG thing of a character saying, "I want to go to this building about 20 yards away," and they somehow run into every single other character in the story along the way, and they offer to come with them on the trip. It's pretty retarded, but it was a fun time. Definitely can say, don't know why the fuck a season 2 is happening. And if it's bad, I almost don't want to watch it. But
I mean, honestly, like I didn't watch this show to figure out is the main character going to die. I watched it to watch her do dumb stuff. And if it's another season we're doing dumb stuff, I'll probably enjoy it.
Yes,
but like it's not a necessity.
I wonder where the plot's gonna go because, like you said, by the end of the first season, like the premise of the thing is this little girl gets hit on the head and goes, "Oh my god, I'm actually reborn from another world where this world is a video game where I die."
She's born into the role of the antagonist of this video game who dies at the end of every storyline. So her goal is to live in any of these storylines.
And spoilers, she lives, obviously. But we hit the end of the story and she's like, "I would have died by now, so I am not going to die." She's like, "Oh, there's a little bit of uncertainty," and it's like, no, you made it through the entire video game. Everyone literally wants to be with you and no one else. Like this game where it was about a main character who can go with a bunch of different guys. Every guy and girl is now madly in love with her.
Just every guy and girl, literally everyone she talks to falls in love with her because she's just that endearing.
Correct. That's why I called it a harem anime.
That's what it is. It's based off these. How do I put it? Like the term otome game in the title is generally like you're a female protagonist romancing a bunch of male characters. So it's the like reverse harem concept.
But yeah, like Freeman said, me and Val finished Bookworm because it's done now. No official announcement of season 2 is kind of sad, but the animation near the end seems like it was struggling a little bit. So
they definitely got a little more fluid with some of the keyframes in the last couple episodes. I didn't hate it. It was very noticeable. Like
yes,
but, like I loved the goofy faces.
Totally, but there's definitely times where it's like, why does mine's face look like that? Yeah. That's a little off for the scene. But show's really fun. I don't think there's anything else I've really been watching. As far as video games to flip it around. And then reverse card. We actually, this is a bit of I'll cover everything else first. I've been playing League again a little bit. League is League. Sometimes it's fun, sometimes it sucks ass, but it's League. Haven't played much Call of Duty. We've really fallen off of that. I found someone had posted to our gaming a short demo video along with a link to a demo on Steam of their game called Crumble. It's like a Spider-Man swinging physics game kind of thing. Like it's not about Spider-Man, but it's basically swinging physics.
It's that kind of.
Yeah, look it up on Steam. It's basically like you're a little blob and they swing around with kind of Spider-Man-y stuff. There's a fun demo.
Man, it's parkour slime.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, I've been playing that, and then this is a bit of a story. But recently, I was contacted on YouTube by a guy whose name I want to get right. So,
I'm going to run to the restroom while you're telling the story, just because
uh,
I know the outcome.
no, that's fine. I want to make sure I get his name right. Oh my god. Of course Chrome freezes up right now. Where is it? Alright, well, fuck, where is it?
Does somebody have a bird chirping?
Yes, actually. I have my window open because it's so hot in here.
It's getting hot in here.
Oh, I love having an AC.
Alright, hold on. I need to find this guy's name. This is taking way too long, but at this point I'm committed, so I'm gonna fucking find this
Jesus
guy's
Christ. So how's your day been, Aiden?
Oh, you know. Working.
Oh yeah, no. Oh,
Just
yeah,
been
no.
working.
name. Alright, I got it.
In the games. Oh, there we go. And now we're back from commercial break.
Yep.
I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Johannes Nornby, aka Jono. He reached out to me randomly, reminding me that Ground Control, one of my favorite old strategy games from when I was a kid, just turned 20 recently. And he was actually one of the programmers on the game and one of the 2 lead programmers for the sequel, Ground Control 2. And yeah, he worked on some of my favorite old strategy games ever. And he reached out to me and said, because I think my Let's Play is like the most viewed Let's Play of it on YouTube, which isn't saying much. But he reached out to me and said, hey, do you want to talk about Ground Control? I want to work on a spiritual successor in the near future. So me and him talked for like 2.5 hours, and it was awesome time. And at the end of it, he told me about what he's doing now, and he is an independent developer. You can check out his stuff, Nornware. It's one word. And his current project is a game on Steam in early access called Space Beast Terror Fright.
What a name.
It's a fantastic name. And he was generous enough to give me 4 keys for it so that me and Du Bois here, plus Luigi, could spend some time playing it together. So expect a Let's Play of this game in the near future. It's a small game, not procedurally, but randomly generated levels and stuff, so it's not like we can do SWAT levels of doing like 20 missions and stuff out of it, but we're going to definitely do a couple sessions of this. We played it last night a little bit. Honestly, it's a ton of fun. You guys should check it out on Steam. It's really cool, but we're going to do a Let's Play and get a little more in-depth on it.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
It's
It's a lot reminiscent of Space Hulk, if you
Yes.
guys ever played that.
Aiden has been screaming every time something happens about, oh my god, this is so Space Hulk. It's ridiculous.
I
Hulk.
love it so much.
Hulk.
Sorry, just so I don't fuck this up, what's his name again?
Johannes Nornby.
It's fine.
Nornby.
Johannes
That's
is
the
fine.
Nornware name.
You could
I
also
just
call
wanna
him
say,
Jono.
Jono, if you're listening to this, thank you. Because this is the Space Hulk game that I've always wanted. It feels so. I love it. Thank you. It's a good game.
And you know what? This is actually pretty good because we've been looking for like another game to like
Yeah.
play
and-
with us like co-op like that. It's not Call of Duty that all of us can play. So
And Halo 3 is not out yet, and we'll blow through that in about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be playing this, and maybe I'll do. Since I'm basically done, I'll just mention this real quick. So I mentioned a couple times that last time I was supposed to be back in Ohio for the last podcast. Now I am officially back in Ohio for about 2 months before I hopefully move back to New Jersey on a more permanent basis. But being alone in Ohio again means lots more time to record stuff and live streams again on the weekends. So maybe this weekend even, I'll live stream a little bit of Space Beast Terror Fright for anybody who wants to join. And it is actually on sale for... it's normally $15 and it's $8.50, so it's almost half off during the Steam summer sale. So I would highly recommend, even if it looks sort of interesting to you, definitely go check it out on Steam and try it. It's honestly a lot of fun, and I'll probably be streaming it and playing with people because I've had a lot of fun dying a lot. But that's basically all I played. I forget what order we had gone in before that. Who was before me?
No,
Was it you or Aiden?
it was me.
Okay, Tyler, what have you been playing?
What I've been playing, you ask. Well, I played like 30 minutes of that where I didn't realize that ricocheting bullets were a thing. So that
Yeah,
was
thanks
actually
for that,
pretty nice.
Tyler.
I'm like, oh hey, look at this. Brrr.
And then I just
Oh, no.
dropped dead.
I was testing. I was like, oh, you're right. Shooting does give you more experience. So I was trying to shoot the ground to not shoot you, and the bullets were ricocheting at a 45-degree angle, blowing your wig back. But I've also started. Oh, excuse me, A Plague Tale: Innocence and The Last of Us 2. And I think A Plague Tale: Innocence is pretty fucking metal in the most traditional sense possible. And like for people who want like a very narrative-driven game with like stealth elements and shit like that, you should give it a try. It's pretty fucking dope. Um, and I figured I would give my Last of Us 2 first impressions because there's been a lot of flack it's been getting online for its story and among other things. It has a what Aiden? It hasn't even reached 5 yet, has it? It's like still
Oh,
3.5.
I haven't looked.
No, let's look at it real
I'm
quick.
curious how many people
Metacritic.
actually hate it versus people who are hating it because it's cool to hate it.
It's
I
probably a lot of both, but honestly, I've seen just as many positive review bombs as I've seen negative review bombs.
Okay, so
It,
as
it
it
is
stands,
sitting at a 4.9 user score
But
right
there's too
now.
much static here. I want to know what like the actual real opinion is.
yeah, I'm 10 hours. I'm about 10 hours through the game already. Um, my first impression, like within the first couple of hours, and like Aiden's been experiencing this game with me as I've been playing it. We were both not very impressed on how the story got kicked off. I'll say that right now. The motivations for a lot of the characters and like the reasoning behind how they do things and just how the writers staged how things went down. Not really a big fan of it at all. In fact, I think it's pretty weak, and like the weakest part of this game. Um, I mean, it hasn't deterred me from not wanting to know what happens. I'm actually pretty like more hopeful now than anything. I'm like, you know what? Maybe they'll. I don't agree with how they started it, but I think that it's possible it could pick up because it's a 25-hour game. 25-hour game kind of leads me to my next point being I feel like there's a lot of padding, but at least they make it sort of meaningful because Last of Us is one of those games that's very resource intensive, where like you need to make every bullet count basically. So it's like a lot of the hours spent in this game is just looking for shit or like, hey, go off into this free roam area so you can like find extra shit or whatever. It's like fine, sure, I'll give you that. Um, but I don't know. I feel like that should just neither here nor there. I think, Last of Us 1 was able to tell their story in like 10 hours. But then again, I shouldn't be comparing this to The Last of Us 1. I should just be looking at it from an objective standpoint. Um, but as a game itself, I think it's pretty good. They they like focus on a lot of things that like could have been improved on the first one, and they improved on it. They added skill trees instead of like one static like upgrade thing. They kept the same upgrade mechanics for the guns. They added new enemies, and they added different scenarios to like kind of scenarios instead of like go here, kill infected, move on, right? Instead of doing that, they did like, oh, you got humans. These humans have dogs. Oh, there are humans and infected here. You could probably provoke them to like fight each other and shit. So, um, I feel like I'm mostly playing this more as like a single player addition to the first game with story bits in it.
Fair enough.
Uh, Yeah, but overall, I don't like. But as like a fun, as like a first impression, like I said, like person who's played through 10 hours through the game, I don't think this really deserves the lowest scores that it's been getting. I feel like a lot of people have just been spite review bombing this maybe. All my friends that I've been playing, well, not been playing with, but like I've played The Last of Us with them for like years for the multiplayer, and we've all been waiting for this game for a long time, and they said like, yo, this game's actually not that bad. It's actually like pretty good, and like they kind of have similar complaints to me where they're like, the story's kind of weird, like motivations or here whatever, but they're like, I mean, like as a game, like playing it is fun.
Okay.
And like, yeah, so that's like my long-winded. I could go even more detail, but like the long short of it being like, I think it's fun. I think if you like the first game, um, keep an open mind to this. Like you might like it, but if not, no one's really pulling your leg either to like do it. The first one's like more of enough of a complete story where like I feel like, you don't really gotta play this to like, if you don't care that much, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's it.
Alrighty.
Yeah,
All right.
those are Jerry's final thoughts.
Aiden, what about you? Who you play?
Oh, all right, here we go. So I
Here comes the
started
list.
Surge 2. Um, actually a pretty good game so far. I've been having fun with it. It's very much in the vein of Dark Souls. They've got a lot of very interesting mechanics in it though that make it pretty different from Dark Souls in most aspects. I mean, like it's still an RPG, and it's like you go to a checkpoint, and if you like rest at a checkpoint, everybody respawns and yada yada yada. But the way that you acquire gear in this game is actually by targeting specific limbs on enemies and cutting them off, which I think is pretty dope. And like the combat is just like way more fast paced, and it feels more of like an action RPG fighter rather than just like what Dark Souls is, where it's like, okay, step forward, swing, swing, back off kind of thing. There's some like pretty neat little combos you could do. Fun game so far. I'm not very far into it. I've played about an hour and a half, and I've been having a good time with it, so that's good. I picked up Helldivers on Steam because Steam
Oh
sales.
yeah, Helldivers. We're supposed to play that.
And yeah, the plan is to play that with Tyler because I'm gonna be shooting him a lot.
Damn.
And
Oh, and Halo 2. I forgot about
yeah,
Halo 2.
I'm fucking getting
I
there,
keep
man.
forgetting. I forgot all these things.
Yeah, me and Tyler have been playing through Halo 2 because it's only 2-player and we couldn't have the full squad on for the playthrough.
Can I just say I typed in Helldiver into Steam and the second autocomplete was where the fuck it's not
Now
showing
you
it. Oh no, now it's not showing it.
fucked.
Where is it? Fuck.
Fucked it up.
Oh my
Yeah.
god. Oh, Helldorado. That's a game on Steam.
Helldorado.
I don't even know what it is, but yeah, you type in Hell D and then Helldorado is the second thing, and I just think that's the dumbest name ever. Keep going.
Correct.
Hey man, it looks kind of dope. But yeah, so Helldivers is from the same developers that did Magicka and Magicka 2.
Oh.
And it kind of fits into the same vein as that, where it's like, so like you have, it is a it's an isometric, I guess it would be isometric, right? Yeah, it's an isometric stick shooter. But they kind of throw in the Magicka aspect where they give you like stratagems that they call them, and you hold left bumper and you have to put in like a button combination, and that'll let you call in shit like airstrikes and mechs and like additional ammo, shit like that. You basically have like air support.
Should I get this? I liked Magicka back in the day.
I mean, if you want to play with me and Tyler,
I was gonna say if it's still got 4-player, I might get
$10. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's 4-player. Actually, you know what's fine? Tim, have you seen Starship Troopers?
this. I think I saw it a long time ago, but I also know about it.
This is Starship Troopers, the game.
Yeah.
Actually.
So yeah, you play as a squad of democracy spreading freedom warriors.
All right, another Let's Play incoming.
Oh yeah.
So me and Tyler plan on playing that. I mean, hey man, Tim, if you want to get in on that, the more the merrier.
Yeah, maybe.
Fucking, I love shooting people in the back. Then I get 2 targets.
Damn.
Yep.
But yeah, Helldivers. I'm looking forward to playing that. I played it a lot on PS3. I think this came out on originally.
Yeah, it says that in this team trailer.
Throwing it back.
Yeah, really cool game. It has like a cool meta campaign to it, but aside the point, it's a fun game. I enjoy playing it. Gonna play it with Tyler. Let's go. Speaking of playing with Tyler, Halo 2. We're like
Halo
what on
2.
mission? We just finished mission.
Oh, we killed
something.
Truth or whatever the fuck. Regret. Wait, who do we assassinate? I keep forgetting.
We killed the Prophet of Regret.
Yeah.
And I think we played 1 or 2 missions after that.
No, because we got to the Arbiter Snow mission.
The last the last achievement I got was beat the par score on Regret. So we beat Regret, and that was where we stopped. Yeah, Halo 2 is Halo 2. Y'all know what Halo 2 is. Speaking of 2s, got Titanfall 2 on Steam because, EA's just given up on Origin.
Please buy it if you haven't.
Tim is begging you.
If you had any qualms about getting into Titanfall, you shouldn't, because Titanfall 2 is $10 and it's a fantastic game. It's got good mechanics. The shooting feels good because it's by, Infinity Ward, except they're called Respawn now.
Damn.
So yeah, it's great. And I've been playing a little bit of the campaign on that. Haven't put much time into it because obviously I'm playing like 20 other games. I'm in the middle of playing through Prey because I needed to scratch the BioShock itch.
I was gonna say that shit's BioShock.
It is super BioShock. It's like if you just took Dishonored and smashed it into BioShock, you get Prey.
Now that's the best sale I've ever heard for that game, Aiden.
I mean, it's true, man. It's like it's BioShock from Arcane Studios.
Damn.
Which is not a bad thing. It's a good formula. It feels good to play so far. Like I've been having a good time with it. It's a cool environment. I'm a sucker for the space shit. As you know about our times playing Space Beast Terror Fright so far. I like space, man. I like being on a space station or on a space Hulk or on a space ship. Just, it's whatever. It's great. Other than that, I did see Days Gone was for sale on PS4, so I also picked that up too. And that was my replacement for The Last of Us 2 because I don't think I'm going to buy that game, having seen Tyler play through it so far. I just don't think there's enough there that's really just interesting to me. I'll get plenty enough out of that game watching Tyler play through it. So I picked up Days Gone, and so far, pretty cool.
Nice.
And that's all I've played for this week.
Hell yeah.
That tiny list.
And just you wait. I have the week after 4th of July off. I'm going to have a list infinitely longer than this.
Oh, jeez.
Fuck.
Because I'm a monster.
A monster frisbee.
But yeah, that's all I got. That's all I got for the plays.
Nice.
Nice. I think I'm last, right?
Yeah, what you got, Freeman?
All right, I got 3 to talk about. One I'm not going to talk about because everyone already knows it's Persona 5. I'm 80%.
I'm still playing that too.
I'm throwing a number at.
Goddamn.
You're also playing Persona 5 while doing all of this.
Yes.
Oh,
Persona 5 is going to be priority though.
I'm at one. So like timeline wise, it's mid-November in a game where it usually ends in December, and not so spoiled. There's an extra month because of Royal. So in terms of timeline, I'm closing in at the end, but like I feel like I have a lot of dungeon grinding content still to go. But outside of that, for interesting stuff that I haven't said a million times in the last 3 months, as well as like 3 years ago, My brother was bugging me because he wanted to try out this party game you'd heard about called Unrailed. So we got a chance to try that on Friday. It's like Overcooked, but it's way less polished and way more chaotic at times. But it's a lot of fun. We're probably gonna play more of it this week. I know it goes up to 4 players, and it's much easier when you have 4 players. We were doing just 2 of us, and it was stressful. Like there's like 3 roles you should be doing at any point in the game, and 1 person who should float. And doing only 2 is chaotic because we're double dipping on roles, but it's still a lot of fun. And then Giga came out with this video earlier this week talking about about like playing gacha games and what it's all about.
Oh my god!
And there's an important point he brought up about how in Fate Grand Order, like all of the like gacha mechanics are mostly around getting your waifus. There's nothing about them that inherently makes it so you can't get through the story without them. Which inspired me to finally go and play this because it's essentially a free visual novel that will explain the animes I'm confused about and will lead me into what everyone's calling is like the Avengers Endgame of Fate stuff in this next movie that's going to come out after Heaven's Feel.
Damn.
So I started playing it. It's basically a free visual novel with a like okay RPG in the middle, but it's more fun than the mobile games I've been playing so far. And the game gives you basically it's free rolls every day for like shit tier characters, but you can get through the story with the shit tier characters if you use the right one. So I'm gonna play this free to play and see how hard it is to finish the campaign. Nice. I will not spend money on this. I do not like these waifus enough to warrant spending like $300 for a given one. It's so ridiculous. Like, I'm not doing that.
Nice.
I'm gonna see how far I can get on free rolls and totally fuck it up. But yeah, that's all I played.
All right.
Man, those are rookie numbers. You gotta pump up those numbers, bro.
Look,
God.
Look, I've set in stone what the path is, and everyone keeps reminding me I should play different games. But like, I gotta beat Persona 5, I gotta beat Witcher 3, and only then can I be reunited with my one true love, Persona 4 Golden. And that's the order of these long games I need to play.
That's fair, and I respect a man with conviction because I have none.
The problem is, I do not have confidence in myself that I can get through that list before Cyberpunk. So I may have to I can't pause Persona, because when you pause a Persona game, that's you saying I'm done with this playthrough and I'm going to start over next time I play this. Like, I may have to delay the Persona 4 playthrough if Witcher takes a while, which it probably will.
Nice.
We'll see. But that's the plan. We'll see how much I can stick to it.
Alrighty, and
we
I
got
think
Ghost of Tsushima 2.
Oh yeah, that's
July
When is that coming out?
17th. July 17th.
Oh,
So like we got 3 weeks,
damn.
and I'm definitely going to be sinking a lot of time into that game because Sucker Punch, mwah, it's my shit.
I just want an Infamous remastered.
That I would not complain about an
Like
Infamous
1 remastered. I'd love that.
Oh, I'd be so happy with an Infamous remaster.
Do you have a problem with Infamous, Tyler?
Nah, I like that game a lot. I played through it like 3 times.
Hell yeah.
Alright, cool.
All right.
Hell yeah.
Was that it?
Yeah, I think that's it.
So.
I think
Yeah,
we're done updating everyone on what we've been doing.
So yeah,
Like they all care.
Oh my god. So yeah, we're gonna pop out. We'll be back in 2 weeks again, assuming there's not a shit ton of news. This has been working pretty well. But yeah, look for live streams and Let's Plays to come back. I have another Let's Play in mind that I want to work on, and obviously Space Beast and live streams and everything. So yeah. So thanks for listening, everybody. Until next time, my name is Timpedia.
I'm Friedman.
Just Tyler.
The Amazing AIDS.
We'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for listening.